And welcome again to Better You in 52. This is the fifth week for 2022, the fifth week of edition of this video series where we allow you, yes, we allow you the chance to work on yourself as quickly and slowly as you want to, in the sense that it's done over the course of the year, but also as instantly as you want to. We believe here at Better You in 52 for this program that if you decide you want to be better and you have that first thought about doing something better, then you've already hit the stride for improvement. You just have to put something in motion, put something in action, get something done, add something to that one, add something to that one, add something to that one, and there you go. And you don't necessarily gain yourself by having a 52-week lesson of we build on this stuff. These are 52 distinct different lessons that you can add on to yourself at any point in time you want to. For more information about following along with the program, if you just finding us on YouTube or some of the video source, you can go to our website, which is Better You in 52, as you see there listed there in the video. And it looks a lot like this right here. It's a very simple, very plain website, and all it does is post the videos that we're having here, plus some extra bits and pieces for how you can work on yourself and your improvement for the year. Better You in 52 is all about being um, just being better. It can't be said any more simpler than that. It's all about making you into a better person by you taking the action, going work. There will be some coming soon more information about cohorts, which are not so much coaching classes, but groups of people who will get together and more than likely support and coach themselves. So more information on that coming up as we build up more steam in this year. So that's going to be something that will continue on going forward in the future. Right now, let's get into what we had for this week's lesson, what we're going to talk about for this week in getting better. And as you saw in the kind of around the beginning, it is to stop saying it could be worse. Week 5, the lesson for this week is to stop saying it could be worse. Because as all of us know, we are all living our own separate lives, our own separate deals, our own separate problems. But other people have their own separate lives, separate deals, separate problems. The reality is, based on what we're going through and we look and compare to someone else, if you have the time to compare, you can see how what they're going through is different and what they're going through could be better or worse, for a lack of having the right vocabulary. It could be more difficult or less difficult. It could be an easier road to hoe than it is for yours. But it's not up to you to say that other people's hard is harder than yours. So your hard does not compute. Your hard is not as important. You should put your hard on the back shelf and worry about other people's hard and their conditions as well. That's not the case. That's not true. You should not, cannot, do not say that what other people is going through and their bad is even more bad than yours. You should stop saying that right now. Number one, your bad, the bad you already have, can be fixed with proper attention. So it doesn't matter how bad your bad is. If you put the right work into it, it can be better. It can be. Or if your bad is literally you making it bad, if you stop doing it, it will get better as you stop putting in the work to make your bad worse. I know linguistics, not my thing today, but you get the point. You can have as much bad as you want to, or as little bad as you want to, often based on how much you want to give yourself the bad. So while other people are going through their things and having a rough time of it, you yourself can fix a lot of your life and a lot of your badness by just giving it the proper attention, not focusing on other people's situation. Even if your goal is to make it better, fix your own first. Because once you fix your own, you'll probably have a better chance of fixing other people's better just by being there and being along as a decent person, to be honest. Another thing is that your bad is just as valid as others' bad. And I'm not sure that is the proper grammar they put in that, but the point is simple. Other people may be having their tough situations, maybe going through their rough life choices, but guess what? Your rough life choices are just as valid as theirs. You are entitled to your bad actions, your bad kicks, your bad steps in life. It's yours. You can have them too. You are not any more special than anybody else, so that you are not allowed to be in bad situations, or when someone presents one that's pretty awful, you have to shy away from your bad situation because, oh, yeah, theirs is better. They topped yours. Your bad is just as valid as others' bad. It may not be as severe, may not be as painful, may not be as hard to get out of. But if you're having a bad day, just because someone's house caught on fire doesn't stop you from having a bad day. They too are having a bad day and have more work ahead of themselves to get to a better day. But just because you didn't you lose property or had to deal with loss of life doesn't mean that you're not having a bad day on your own. You may not be having as bad as a day as they are, and there may be some perspective to that, but that doesn't make their bad worse than yours. It doesn't make your bad having your bad any less valid. It just means you're having your own cosmic level of bad days on your own separate levels, and you must deal with yours. And if you can help with theirs, maybe they can help with yours. That's possible. But you don't discount yours because someone else is having an awful day, because your awful is just as awful to you as it should be. And finally, you never have to live simply with bad. Bad doesn't have to stay there forever. You can choose, decide to not live the bad life or have a bad life. And it can be just simple as deciding that whatever it is that you're working through, dealing with, whatever it is the situation is the real. It's the normal. It's just there. And sometimes this comes from us just deciding that sometimes hopes and dreams and things that we had for a long time that we felt we deserved, we needed to get to, we're not going to get to. There are various levels in my career that I have given up on at this point in time because it's not worth the effort. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the stress to go into. There are silos in life where I'd have to start at one place and go to other places. And once I went far enough in one silo, I realized I couldn't jump out and go to another silo. And that was a situation I had to go to. I can't do better in this one because I'm doing good enough in this one. And I can't live with a life that I believe is just horrible because it's not so much horrible. It's just not exactly the way I planned. Take some actual perspective to your life, your bad, if you will, and understand whether it's actually not good or just not as great as you wanted to turn out to. Because chances are you're living a fairly good life. It just is not quite as dynamic or fruitful as you thought it would be when you looked at it from your 12-year-old self, because 12-year-old selves have no reason to believe that anything they don't want will never not happen. Life will change that, situations will change that, and oddly enough, your choices. You will choose that thing that 12-year-old you thought was the greatest thing in the world may not be worth it. You may still want to be a rock star, but you also realize that rock star life means a whole lot less quiet than you have right now, and you kind of enjoy the quiet and stability. It is what it is. To not have the greatest sometimes means having something that's not so great, but the not so great is only not so great compared to how great you thought the other thing was. More linguistics, if you will. You never have to live with bad because you can live however you decide you want to live. And if you decide that how you live is not so bad, then it's not so bad. It's not so much of a struggle. So let's review 3 tips for this week's Better You in 52. Number one is your bad can be fixed. Reading not working well as well. Your bad can be fixed with proper attention. So don't worry about other folks' bad being so horrible that you don't think that your bad deserves any attention. Your bad deserves the proper attention as well. And so someone can come around and help you with yours, and you can focus on yours and still have empathy for those who are going through their own issues. Your bad is always just as valid as others. Just because they're having a worse day by standards that most people would see as worse doesn't mean the day you're having is not a bad, horrible, terrible day compared on what you're living with. It doesn't have to be a super serious loss of life or property or freedom, but it can still be a setback that really, really gets you down and you see will have some issues. So don't be discounted with your bad not being quite as flashy bad as other people's bad. And of course, you never have to live with bad. You can choose to live with good, do more things better, convert the bad situation into a not so bad situation, and figure out the real perspective of what's going on. So other people can still have their situations and still live in their bad, if you will. You can decide that what you have going on isn't quite so bad, not because it's not as bad as theirs, but because it actually is not so bad. In that case, you're not comparing your bad to their bad. You're just seeing what they're going through, and you can use your full empathy to help them get better and not be bitter because what you have going on is not getting fixed in the process. Those are things to do for you when you are looking for some way to improve on yourself. And one of the easier ways to improve on yourself is, oddly enough, to stop looking at others and stop comparing yourself and stop looking at the things that you are struggling with and then looking at other people's things that they're struggling with and say, wow, that's a real struggle. That's a real thing that needs to be handled. That's a real thing that people should care about. I should just sit back here and be me and let the world take its self. Your troubles are worth the trouble to help get fixed. So if you're having troubles, ask for help, put in the work, take the time, sit back and actually review it and see what's going on. Maybe your bad is not so bad, but not because it's not as bad as theirs. It's because you don't have the right frame of mind and perspective because you're kind of stuck in it right there. So take perspective of what you're doing and see how bad your bad is. If it is, it's valid. Get someone to help you work on it. If it isn't, try to live your best life as you can and try to have empathy for those who are suffering in their own. This has been Better You in 52 from betteryouin52.com, the website that offers up pretty simple advice for trying to be a better you in the next year. Every single week, we have a new video that goes over some aspect of your life that you can pretty much put into the world and change and get on it. You just go to the website, Better You in 52, just like that, and you'll see it right there. It's pretty simple, pretty vanilla, if you will, but it will give you some insight on how you can work on yourself and help work with others if you want, if that is your desire as well. We are working towards growing in some cohorts and things so that more people can gather in conversation and in fellowship, commiseration, complicitation, whatever, to help grow better in the year. And as we say, the moment you decide you want to improve on yourself, you're that much better. So just pick one of these things in no particular order and pick one to add to your week to produce to get yourself better. So this week, we're asking you to stop comparing your bad to other people's bads. And while you're at it, stop comparing your goods to other people's goods and stop comparing yourself, period. Understand who you are, what you're going through, what your gifts are, what your liabilities are, and understand who you are and be you. Work on being the best you that's possible. And if being a better you helps out other people, which it does, spoiler alert, then work on being the better you so you have more resources, more time, more patience to help other people. This is something that I'm always um, working on sort of on a personal level where I believe I have all these awesome gifts, but I don't believe I'm getting it back in return the right amount for what I put in there. And that's not how life works. You put in, it comes back, and the people that need you, whether sometimes they can offer up any sort of payment or whether they can offer up any sort of empathy just and not be a jerk about it. Sometimes the work of being a hero means being unsung for on purpose, and that's how it is. So this week, work on you by working on you and focus on the things you have going on and work very, very hard. I know it gets hard sometimes to determine that just because other people are not doing so great doesn't mean that it discounts you and that you should stop worrying about yourself because other people need more help. There's plenty of resources, plenty of pie. You can get your own piece and work towards the better you. We'll see you next week with another one of these videos. Kind of call them great videos, just kind of a nervous habit, but we think they're pretty good videos. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to me on the social media at jclevelandpayne or email me at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com. Also, you can reply to any of the messages on the website, and we will get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for being on the video. Thank you for stopping by and watching this video. And like, subscribe, hit the button so you get all of the notifications, and make sure to check out the website for another tip for next week to help you get better in this 52 weeks of this year.